Pregame.com.
My first college football bet and pick of the 2018 season. This is Brad Powers, Pregame.com studios, just off the Vegas Strip. And yes, indeed, college football season doesn't start for 6 months, but I think there's one team offering up some value in the futures markets, and I got that team coming your way here in a second.
College football, you know we're about 1 month away from March Madness.
We're less than a month. We're 2 weeks from March Madness.
So this must be a really good college football pick. Who do you have?
I believe it is, and we're going to take Washington 30-1, and let's talk about how you evaluate college football teams in the offseason. It's all about who you bring back and who do you play. Number one for Washington, factor for me, this is the most experienced top 10 team that finished in the top 10 of the AP poll from last year. This year's team comes back, returns 17 starters. You look on the offensive side of the ball, they're going to have a 4-year starting quarterback in Jake Browning, 4-year starting running back in Myles Gaskin. 5 of their top 7 receivers are back. 4 starting offensive linemen are back. Washington, very experienced. In fact, the most experienced top 10 team.
All right, loaded on offense. They had a top 10 defense last year. How does the defense stack up this year?
Now, Washington does lose their best player, defensive lineman, Vita Vea, 350-pounder, going to go high in the NFL draft, but pretty much everyone else is back. 9 returning starters, and including all 4 in the secondary. You look at the advanced metrics, the analytics, Football Outsiders, and that, and they say the most important position, at least becoming in college football, is the secondary. Very experienced secondary for the Huskies.
So everyone else is focused on their college basketball power ratings, but you have just about finalized your college football power ratings, your initial set for 2018.
I have, and I have Washington right now number 6 in the country, and I'm not alone. ESPN Football Power Index, that came out here recently, has Washington number 5. Bill Connolly of Football Study Hall and Football Outsiders, he has Washington number 4, and you look, whoa, you got a top 6, top 5 caliber team getting 30-1 odds. You compare them to the other teams in the top 5 or 6. The Alabama's 2-1, Georgia 6-1, Ohio State 7-1, Clemson 5-1, 30-1 sounds awfully pretty good when you compare it to those teams.
Your second key handicap.
Well, we talked about who Washington has coming back. Well, who do they play? And I think they have a very favorable schedule. In fact, I have Washington favored in 11 of their 12 games. You look at the only dog roll for them, the opener against Auburn, so they can lose that game and be fine. You look at their Pac-12 schedule, and you look at the other 2 of the other best teams in the Pac-12. USC, don't play them. And Stanford, they host the Cardinals, so a very favorable schedule.
You know, I really like the fact that they're playing Auburn, and here's why. If they played a cupcake, I would say for Washington to go to the Final Four, they got to run the table. But because they're playing an elite team, now all of a sudden 11-1 should be fine to get them into the Final Four, so they can even lose that game against Auburn.
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point. Kind of a free roll. If they lose the game, oh, they're fine. They can win their conference, win out, go 12-1, win the Pac-12 title and be fine. But if they win that game, I mean, that's a marquee win, and all of a sudden you're going to have a team that's 30-1 in the futures markets. After one game, probably going to be 15-1.
And the committee very much has talked about that they're going to emphasize more on winning your conference championship. Let's make this one official.
Yeah, let's make this official. We're taking the overwhelming favor in the Pac-12, Washington 30-1. Washington, the most experienced top 10 team coming back, 17 returning starters, 4-year starting quarterback, 4-year starting running back, 9 starters back on defense, and Washington, a favorable schedule. They're going to be favored in 11 of their 12 games. The only dog roll in the opener against Auburn, well, heck, they can lose that one and still be fine as far as winning the national title. Value on Washington 30-1. More videos at pregame.com.